I needed something a little safer. So it's probably late 70s. I went up to Blanket Hill Speedway and met Rod George, Twyla, and Dwayne, and they had a small clay track up there. I watched up there for a couple times. I liked what I saw. I went to Tracy's motorcycle shop down on the High River Boulevard. At that time, they sold Yamaha. Yamaha had their own Yamaha cart, Yamaha motor, and everything. So I said, listen, make me a deal on this Yamaha, because I'm going up to Weisco, because they had an open house in Newberry, Ohio, I believe. And they sold carts and stuff up there. But I ended up getting a cart off of Bob Tracy and Greg Tracy. I took the Yamaha motor off because they were running Briggs and Stratton motors. So we put a American-made motor on a Japanese frame. And
what year was this?
Probably late 70s.
We're ahead of the game, huh?
So actually, the George family helped me out a lot, because here again, karting back in the late 70s, early 80s was the best kept secret. There was no one you could go to turn to find out what you needed to do. And at that time, I didn't know you had to have an engine builder. You just can't assume to do it yourself if you want to be up in the front. So I hooked up with a guy, Shoemaker, Wes Shoemaker, up in Ford City, and he was my engine builder. And I never bought a Starduster. A Starduster is the carts that the George family built up near Katanning. From there,
excuse me, was Rod racing sprint cars at this time, or was he still on
go-karts?
Go-karts, okay.
Yeah, and trying to get this in a sequence. So we put the Yamaha aside because it didn't have many adjustments on the chassis. Bought a Coyote out of New York, and had very, very successful times with that. Running at a place called Crooked Creek, that's down past Ford City. Yeah, we ran, I guess there wasn't the main tracks local for dirt, but we did go to Columbiana, Ohio. Columbiana had an asphalt road track, which we went on quite a bit. And then I got married, and my first child happened to be my son, and he saw 3 or 4 go-karts sitting along the wall. He wanted to know what was up with all those things. At the age of 5, we put him in the seat, and he liked it, and so we started traveling, and he wanted to be like his buddy who was always winning. So we had to go to North Carolina to get the cart, and when you buy it down there, it's a roller. They scale you, and you leave there ready to go racing, along with their whole program, tire program, and everything like that. We went on to win state championship with my son as the driver on dirt series. Then after we did the dirt series, we went on to win the state championship on the asphalt oval series. We primarily go left.
You didn't do the road courses?
We do the road courses.
Grand Prix?
We raced, well, I also bought what we call an enduro cart. The races were 45 minutes long. You lay down in the cart, just your head up. And I like that because we would race at Watkins Glen, the whole track, the lower boot and everything. We go to Poconos, run the oval backwards in the infield. Rockingham, Charlotte. We went out to St. Louis, but we used all the facilities that all the guys that we watch on TV would use. The showers, the garages, everything, except we were running a go-kart. So I drove that for about 5 or 6 years.
How was the transition from going from the motocross to the go-kart?
The flat tracks?
Yeah.
It was pretty, I'm going to say it was seamless.
Because they were smooth? Or?
Yes, you had to have, the road racers that you guys see from motorcycles, those guys come primarily, they want to get them from flat trackers rather than motocross people, because the flat trackers, and what they've told me, have a little bit more finesse and they're not busted up drivers or riders. They come from motocross to the road races. The road race is supposed to be the elite, but they have more prior injuries and so forth. So coming from the flat track bike, which I was still going down making a left, to the go-karts, you know, and tires, and the program with tires. And so what was, the go-karts are safe.
Speaking of tires, Colton earlier really talked about tires, which when I met with Colton a couple of weeks ago, I'm just amazed at that. I mean, I guess the tires in a go-kart are like the shock package now
Right.
in a late model.
We can measure the rebound on the tires. There's a little thing that you measure how much rebound there is on the tires. The series that we were in the asphalt oval, we won the national championship with the World Karting Association in 2011. I was awarded the Mechanic of the Year through the World Karting Associations for 2011. But when you go to race in the series, they brand your tires. They take a hot iron and they brand your tires, so you have to use those tires the whole weekend. So trying to save on money. Each series had their own tires. So if you went to the asphalt series, you might be using Dunlop tires. You go to the dirt series, you may be using Hoosier tires. You go to the road race series, you'll definitely be using a Dunlop road course tire.
Now, the question I would have, you have an asphalt late model, you have a dirt late model.
Yeah.
They're really two different, entirely different creatures out there. How is it converting from the asphalt to the dirt in what you're doing?
We must have at least 8 chassis at home, and each one of those are specific use. In other words, I have a chassis that for left-hand turn only dirt. I have a chassis for left-hand turn only asphalt. I have a European cart that we use out of a place we used to call Beaver Run. I also have a trick cart, that's the name of the company, for road courses. You sit in the center of the carts on the road courses. On the asphalt and oval carts, you set left to center, so you have more weight on them. There's chassis for 2-cycle motors, there's chassis for 4-cycle motors. So each chassis, if you would come to my house and you look at it and say, how come you have so many? Each one is designed specifically for its use.
Now, body configurations, are they pretty much the same, or?
To the naked eye, you couldn't tell a difference too much. On